everyone, this is Zachary Q Dennis from littlegreendude.com, and I'm going to do a very quick video showing you a rundown of the Android M developer preview running on a Nexus 6. So first of all, I'm going to show you it booting up. It's the same animation as before, but I have to say it feels like my Nexus 6 is booting up much quicker than it was on Lollipop. It actually used to take quite a long time. Now while it's booting up, as I say, you'll notice the boot animation is the same as it was before. I would say a couple of things that we know that we've been looking forward to. So we know, we don't know the name yet. All we know it as is Android M. But we do know that a lot of the rumours that we'd heard about are true. There's a lot of power saving going on when you leave your phone or tablet on a table not doing anything. It goes into a deep hibernation, which almost doubles standby time, which is actually very impressive. We've also got Android Pay coming, things like that. Now this phone's booted up, let's go straight in and have a look. So the first thing with the lock screen you'll notice is the clock has changed, the font. It's a thicker font than it was before. Skip that. And also, we don't have the dialer available from the lock screen anymore. It is now the Google search. We also notice that it's not a bezel swipe anymore either. You actually have to touch the icon and go up to unlock. And I'll just put in my password. And we won't need that again because it will hopefully have connected to my 360. Yes, it has. So now we'll be using Smartlock. So you'll probably have noticed just then when I went into the app drawer, that's changed considerably. Now, it's not aesthetically perfect yet. I still think the way the letters are grouped together is still a bit ugly, but it's nowhere near a final release. So you'll notice that everything is in an alphabetical list now, which is actually a lot better and easier to get to, and you can scroll your finger down to get this as well. And you'll also notice that you have your most recently used, or most frequently used rather, apps at the very top. You can still say OK Google, just like you could before. And it's still available from a swipe out here, and I'll just refresh that. Also, if you click on the Google here button here, it comes up with those same recent apps no matter where you are. You can also hold down on the button here to bring up the search bar wherever you are. And that would also bring up the cards on screen that we saw in the I/O keynote, but unfortunately that is on tap rather, Google Now on tap, not on screen. Unfortunately, that's not actually available in this release, but you notice it says in this release, and we do know we're getting another developer preview in June and another one in July. And the great thing about that is that it will be available as an over-the-air update to those on this developer preview. Going into notifications, they look the same. Quick settings, however, are different. We now have Do Not Disturb, which we can go into in here. We can toggle it on and off. Total silence, alarm only, priority only. The great thing is if we go into more settings, we have what priority only allows, but also automatic rules. So on my device, every Thursday from 7:15 until 9 o'clock, it will automatically go onto priority only mode, and the same on a Sunday from 4 o'clock to 5:45. This is a lot like Motorola Assist, but it's actually hard baked into the operating system now and is a lot better. You'll also notice the icon up there has changed and you can toggle it through. This also means that those Do Not Disturb and Priority Mode options are actually missing from the volume panel now. This is because they have changed it so that you can get to all three volume sliders from wherever you are. This is something that I actually really appreciate. This is my first Nexus phone. I'm coming from a Samsung device, and as much as I absolutely loathe TouchWiz, the one thing I did like was the expandable volume panel, so it's nice to see that here. We also know that multi-window is coming. If you change your build prop from a normal user to a user debug, in other words, if you're an actual Googler, you can use multi-window in the M preview. I haven't actually enabled it on my Nexus 6 yet, but I will be enabling it on my Nexus 9, and there will be a follow-up video showing you what the M preview is like on a tablet, and multi-window will be there. If we go into the camera, there are some light changes, not a lot. The main visual change is the focusing effect. You'll see that new circle animation, which is actually rather nice. Also, HDR Plus used to take a very long time to capture and render on the Nexus 6. However, once I take the picture, it's taken, and it processes much faster than before. That is at least twice as fast, I would say, if not more. The other settings are exactly the same as before. Nothing else has changed here. Moving on, we've also got new app animations. So when I open an app, you'll see how it opens in a much newer way. The animations here for the drop down are new, and even the menu animation is different. Going into the settings, you'll notice it's dark. This is because if you enable developer options, you can turn on Show System UI Tuner. This means that you can change your quick settings from there. And it also means that in developer options, you can switch it from dark to light, light to dark, or have it on automatic, where based, I think, either on the time of day or possibly the lighting conditions of the room, it will actually change what theme you're running for the settings menu. Google is also available here from the settings menu rather than showing as an app in your app drawer, which is much nicer. Smartlock has also had quite a nice upgrade in that it can now log you into apps, which I will demonstrate with Netflix. If I go down to my Netflix and I will clear its data, so I have to log in again, you'll notice I don't have to log in with my username or password at all. All I do is open Netflix and let it load up. This will only take about 30 seconds or so. That's all it took before. There we go. Came up with my email address, logged me straight into Netflix, didn't have to put a password in, and I'm in, and I can carry on watching The Office, which I've been binging on recently. And that is basically that. Actually, no granular app permissions. Now, that's not available in the Play Store yet. When you install an app right now from the Play Store, it installs as normal. However, you can still use the granular permissions by going in here, going into app permissions, and you can see the different things. So, for instance, I went to SMS, and I said, "No, Facebook, you are not allowed to read my text messages. Why would you need to?" I also stopped it from being able to read my telephone and things like that, because in all honesty, why should it have that kind of permission? This is actually one thing that I appreciated in iOS. It's one of the only things I really like about it. And so that's actually pretty good. We've also got a RAM manager now. You can see what apps are using how much RAM. I've actually only just found this by accident, so that's pretty cool, actually. We also have a new storage menu. See, it says internal storage here, which we can go into, and then it looks all very normal. And this is because in Android M, you will be able to mount SD cards and OTG storage devices as a main partition that you can install not just parts of apps to, but actual private data as well, meaning you could install apps completely and totally on a memory card or another piece of storage. Kind of ironic that they're doing this now just as Samsung drop SD card support. But this doesn't really matter to me a whole lot. I've got a 64 gig Nexus 6 anyway, so I'm not really concerned about storage. Battery life has been very good. This was charged not quite to full. This was charged up to about 90%, and I've had an hour and a half screen time since then, and I've still got 5 hours screen time left. That approximation on the battery is based on me actually having the screen on and using it. Standby time is very, very good. I'm actually getting slightly better battery life here than I was on Lollipop. Speaking of battery life comparisons, even my Moto 360 prefers the M Preview for battery life compared to Lollipop. That's 81% and 18 hours left. I have just been using it on max brightness in a shop for all my loyalty cards, so that would have dropped a bit. Just now it said 82% and about 82, 83% and about 24 hours left, so that will probably go up again later on. But that is actually better than what I was getting on Lollipop anyway. And that is basically all we have in the M Preview so far. It is extremely nice, I have to say. It's not a massive visual change from Lollipop, but the new things are actually Really, really nice. If you're wondering how stable it is, very. The only issue I've had with the Nexus 6 is that you had to flash all the files individually, and a big shout out to Pedro on Google Plus for talking me through that. I'd only had 2 hours sleep at that point in the last 24 hours, and I was making so many user errors, and he just talked me through it because I really needed him to at the time. So thanks for that, man. The only few bugs I've had is that if you're on the 64 gig Nexus 6, when you boot up the first time, the phone will think it's a 32 gig model. All you have to do is go into the settings menu in the phone and do a factory reset. When it boots up, it will have updated all of its information, and it will register itself as 64 gigs once again. The only other bugs I had, at first, it was extremely laggy. The keyboard lag, everything was really, really slow. I decided to do a reboot, and when it booted up, it said Android is upgrading, and it optimized about 10 to 15 apps, and as soon as it finished that and rebuilt the cache for some apps, and they must have been some important ones by the sounds of things, everything ran perfectly fine, really smooth, really nice. So that's it for now. If you have any questions on the Android M preview, then please ask and I will include answers, and if there's anything you want to see that I've maybe missed, I will include that in the Nexus 9 Android M review. This is Zachary Q. Dennis from Little Green Dude, signing out.